right, gather around, guys. Come on in. Come on in. Come on, check it out. It's already dropped the hockey stick. It's not time to play games right now. Tomio, you too. All right, well, no surprise. A little disappointed in that loss. Not what we were hoping for. Obviously, we set a higher expectation for ourselves. And I know I don't have to communicate that to you because I know that you all have that expectation for yourselves already. Now, we will have Coach ZZ Legendary coming in here. He's going to give his thoughts on the match so far. And a little bit of words for each of you, okay? So I need everybody on their best behavior, all right? So when Coach Legendary comes in, let's listen, all right? Listen. This is him right now, actually. So, all right, here's Coach Legendary.
All right. Thank you, Assistant Coach Giss.
Of course.
I'm going to get straight to the point, boys. 0-1 is not the start we wanted. We wanted a 4-0 week. We're going to get a 3-1 week instead, all right? We know we can beat FlyQuest. We slipped up one game. We can't let it shake us. It wasn't them being better than us. It was just us messing up, right? We're going to get it back, and we're going to get that done.
We're better.
We're going to get a 2-0 tomorrow. Surdy, you know it. You've been working on the monk mental. You got the breathing techniques. Use them. You got the gum. Don't forget it. And you're going to bring the tone, right? Just get yourself back to neutral. Tomio, you're the goofster. You got the vibes. You got the spirits. You got to keep it up. You got to bring the team back up, right? Alleviate the team. And at the same time, though, remember that you got to keep the comms clean, right? You got to know when to joke around and you got to know when to get serious.
Got the chit-chat.
Soligo, you're a veteran. You're the rock, right? You're going to keep the team stable. You're performing every game. You got to keep the rookies going with their fundamentals, keep the comms flowing, keep the energy going, all right? But at the same time, don't forget about yourself. You're an absolute smurf in the mid lane, and you can carry.
You're the carry, baby.
Carry. Speaking of carry, you know when to get the resources, you know how to get the resources, and you know what to do with the resources. You can carry with it. You're an absolute dominator. Keep going for those trades. Keep going for those leads. And we're going to win it, right? At the same time, though, if you don't get the resources for some reason, it's all good. Just help the team help you, and we'll put you right back on track.
Help them help you.
Skytech, we're going to put you on engaged supports yet again.
That's my guy.
Show why we keep putting you on engaged supports, all right? You're the smurf of engaged supports. You're going to find the game-winning team fights. You're going to find the big engages. You're going to find the angles, and you're going to start us up for the victory, right?
Breaking you Nautilus.
So, boys, don't let it shake you. Once again, it's a 0-1. We're going to turn it into a 3-1. We know how to do it. We're going to swing it back to Assistant Coach Giss to close out the speech, all right?
Oh, thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach Legendary, for coming in and giving that rousing speech. I feel inspired. I hope that all of you feel inspired as well. And I can't say it any better than Coach. You know, we came into this week expecting and planning for that 4-0. Now, obviously, we're already a little disappointed, but that 3-1's still in sight, okay? So I need everybody on 3. We're going to say EG, all right? 1, 2, 3, EG! Now let's go out there and show them what we're made of, okay? And with that said, we're going to sit over a short break before we're back with the casters for game number 2. And no break. It's back to live, everybody, as we're here getting ready for game 2 of our series. FlyQuest with the comeback magical. You were talking about that week over week. They have been looking
Steve,
good.
Has anyone ever told you, you look a lot like the guests you bring onto the show?
I have been told. I think I just have one of those faces, honestly. It's, purely coincidental.
Okay.
But
I just got really confused there because I could have
lot.
sworn I saw you on the screen. Then here you are in a completely different outfit.
It is a little jarring when it passes directly between two individuals that look so closely alike, but obviously sound completely different. So I think we can all agree on that.
It's
but
just
guys,
the big Minnesota family.
The Midwest runs deep, everybody. Midwest runs deep. FlyQuest Academy, though, I really want to talk about them, guys, because that was a good win. That was a good win from FlyQuest. You were talking about it, Cubby. Yuji looking on the same page as everybody. And I want to give props to Philip now, pulling out the Aatrox again this season and having that as his answer to the Graves. Yeah. Not something that a lot of other top laners are playing right now.
It was slightly forced from the bans. I know that I wasn't a huge fan of it, just seeing the Twisted Fate and the Jinx. I thought it would kind of struggle if EG were able to kind of play together and play off those gold cards, but that was not the case. And Philip and the rest of FlyQuest punished that immensely as EG, it felt like every play that they tried to attempt, FlyQuest just had something in their back pocket, had something ready to respond, and things got a little bit sloppy, but hey, credit to FlyQuest. You know, they came out on top of the brawl, and it's good to see them continue to come together as a roster.
Someone has to be the king of chaos, right? one team has to be able to come out above it all and the madness
Sure.
that happened in that game, but it also takes a good team to be able to capitalize on those mistakes, to notice those missteps from your opponent, and then be able to punish them so you can win.
And it's also important to have an AD carry that can survive in those chaotic moments and keep putting out that damage. And Tomo
Huge.
absolutely did that. I mean, Tomo's week 1 performance is actually what I was excited about coming into the entire split. I felt like Tomo and Diamond actually won bot lane multiple times in their first 4 games, even though they weren't picking up wins. It still was like, okay, this is the strength of FlyQuest. And now with everything else coming together, Tomo still got it, man. Already here in week 5 and having this level of performance magical. I mean, you were hyping him up too, like the one player that we don't talk about that often on the roster.
Well, I mean, it might even just be the fact that we've seen him in the LCS, didn't have the most spectacular year. There was that stint where the FlyQuest team that came up from Academy into the LCS was able to actually have a really good win streak, and that was off the back of Tomo and Diamond. I think a lot of that is their success, and this is them trying to make a statement for why they deserve to be back there, right? Tomo especially was huge in that game. His positioning was great. Kaori has been a player that we focused a lot on throughout the season, but Tomo right there just absolutely took him to town.
And I think that one of the things and signs of growth that we've been looking for out of Tomo is improved laning phase, because that is where he really struggled with his time in LCS, and it wasn't a standout in Academy this past year. This year, him and Diamond are one of the 3 now returning bot lanes that we have, and he's 3rd out of all marksmen in goal differential at 14, averaging being up over 400, and that's on a team that's averaging being down in gold at 14 as well. So I think it does speak to how well Tomo is laning, and even someone that, we're somewhat familiar with in the Academy space, it's good to see him making these improvements, round out his gameplay, and make him even more viable LCS prospect as we move forward.
Yeah, exactly. The positioning from Tomo in the late game team fights, definitely a big catalyst for FlyQuest Academy winning that. But throughout most of the game, gold was actually relatively even. It was interesting to me because FlyQuest was winning a lot of fights. They were getting more kills, but the fact that EGA were staying up in gold, a lot of that from Surdy split pushing, staying on the graves, just pushing through lanes. Maybe he listened to a little too much of the Doom soundtrack, though, because he got a little aggressive in some of those in-lane trades, having to back. And then, of course, we saw Philip with that one teleport. Getting down to that dragon was a big kind of turning point for FlyQuest in that game.
It was a big fight around Dragon where Philip was able to show up. And looking at this is what I was saying about punishing mistakes that came in from EG. FlyQuest kept punishing the missteps, the overextending, even having essentially where you shouldn't ever have this, where your Jinx and Aphelios are both just fighting 1v1 on the other side of the fight. But that happened, and Tomo was able to come out the better of it.
And there was another moment that I was very impressed with, the ability of Philip to just have more impact than Surdy overall. There was that moment where it was around the, I believe, 2nd dragon of the game where he had a teleport advantage. He pushes the lane, backs, TPs into the fight, and then they're able to turn that one around. But also later on in the game, Cubby, when Surdy was split pushing bot lane and looked like he was backing off because he wanted to teleport to what was happening around the Baron, and Philip says, no, I'm going to go all in on you right now, even though I just lost the last trade because I'm not going to give you that window to join your team.
You didn't even bring up the solo kill that he was able to net in that matchup as well, as he picked the counter. And I think that was the big difference in this game, as it felt like EG... Surdy made that one mistake in the top lane. Sadigo had a really tough game mid, getting a solo kill double 3 against that Silas. And it was a trade of FlyQuest having more gold on their solos in the mid game. And then EG, of course, funneling the Olaf. And Olaf, with the changes that we have had to Gore Drinker and Sterax, he falls off even harder as we move into the mid to late stages of the game. And I think that's why we saw EG try and force things so hard. And EG just weren't able to do it together. And that's really the stride that I'm looking for this team to make, as you have tools like a Twisted Fate gold card. You can play off those tools. You can wait for gold card to hit and then throw all your abilities into a target. And we just see EG, it felt like just going too fast, pedal to the metal, not trying to be a little bit more patient and play around some of these big CC cooldowns they have between the Leona, between the Twisted Fate. And that really ended up biting them in that game.
I like what you said, playing a little too fast occasionally. There was also the moment where Surdy was getting dove topside, and he's 1v3, just trying to survive as long as he can. Stoligo tries to TF ult like way deep to try and give him an escape route, and then goes right on to the Aphelios. Tobo just kind of 1v1s him and just destroys him. So it's like moments like that where, okay, be a little more measured, be a little more calculated in the plays. Hopefully that's something that EGA can actually adapt to going into this next game, which I am now here. We are ready for Pick and Ban 4. So enough of us talking about the players in the game. Let's start to watch how they've been adapting going into this one. Magical.
Well, you might not be talking about them, but me and Cubby will be very much talking about them because that's what we're supposed to do. Otherwise, it'd just be a watch party, I suppose. Well, I guess we could.
This
turn
is a
it into
different
watch party.
version of Mad Magical. You're like actually mad instead of just being crazy.
Look.
You gotta try and match all Kangus's, family.
Exactly. I see it. This is not the best day for me. People behind the scenes know, just not feeling the greatest. So you're getting a little bit more snarky magical today. But here we go. We're diving into the champion select for our fourth game of the day, second one of our second best of two. Akali, Jarvan, Zeri. I mean, bans that we saw last time.
Importantly, do want to highlight the side swap between both of these teams. Also, the Jarvan ban. I know that Tomio has had not the hottest start to the Academy Spring Split, but Jarvan has been his best champion. 4-2 on the Jarvan for a team that's sitting in the middle of the pack. It's his most played, his most successful. So I like the fact that FlyQuest are taking that away. And I'm now curious to see what ends up happening with this Jinx Aphelios. We did see EG go for that early Jinx. And this time around with FlyQuest on blue side, EG had to drop that Thresh ban for the Zeri. So Thresh is open, and Diamond gets his hands on one of your favorite player champion combos that we have in Academy, Mad Magical.
Diamond, I think he's only ever lost one game I've casted of him playing Thresh. And every single time I've ever casted him playing Thresh, he has won. That's how good this guy is on this champion. It's one of his highest win rates, one of his most picked champions as well. We like to talk about Chime being not a Bard one trick, but an actual Thresh one trick. Diamond's a very similar vein. His Blitzcrank is amazing, and I feel like that's why we look over to Evil Geniuses. They get the Jinx again for Kaori, but the Tahm Kench try to help out a little bit in the later stages of the game to make sure that you're going to have Kaori's positioning be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, one might say Diamond's Blitzcrank has Diamond hands, as he rarely drops a hook. But it will be the death sentence instead, as hopefully that bad joke wasn't my death sentence for the day. And we'll throw another one on that, as pretty standard first three coming out from FlyQuest. It is a Thresh Aphelios with a jungle pairing. We'll now have to see if EG decides to match the jungle or take one of their solo lanes, since they could grab something with priority here. That will be the case, as it is now TF locked in, and they can take away some of the counters that Spyrax has at his fingertips, as that Rise is being taken away. We'll have to see if it is going to be a Victor ban or a Sylas ban, which Spyrax really gave Suigo a hard time with in the last game, especially in that laning phase.
And that's where I'm looking to see which one they think is going to be more of an issue. Sylas or Victor, because obviously the one that is left open is what Spyrax is going to play here. And I expect the Sylas to be the one. Victor, he's pretty good. We still see him dominating the meta at the moment. But Spyrax, I feel like it isn't going to be quite as dominating of a performance into something like Twisted Fate. More of just both of them trying to clear out the minion waves.
I honestly would have banned the Victor, as I think Victor does a good job of buying space for Aphelios. But that's not going to be the case. It will be the Sylas. That did give EG and Suigo a really tough time in the last game, so paying some respect over to Spyrax. And Victor, it does open up EG to make some fast plays around the map early if they want to do that. So that is something we still are looking for EG to do, as we expect them to lock in jungle. Tomio still has pick of the litter, as no bans went down on him, and it will be a Xin Zhao.
Not going on to Olaf. Xin Zhao, one of those classic junglers we've seen this year. And on the other side, it's into Yuji on this Lee Sin. I expect Yuji to play pretty aggressively on this champion in Xin Zhao. Try to see if you can really control and maintain how this game is going to progress for the entirety of your team. Spyrax? So these hovers are coming out, and I don't expect any of them. The Victor is what I still am expecting for Spyrax. Oh, wait, what? No, it is Ari. Okay, that's not what I expected. I was expecting that to be a bait.
That's all right. I'm excited to talk about Ari, as her semi-rework has put Ari back in the meta. Very high win rate on something that with FlyQuest, and I think the power of Ari and why she's really strong is that you are an assassin that also has wave clear. So when you get priority and you can roam around with Yuji on this Lee Sin, that can make things very difficult for the side of EG. Now, EG, they do have a Twist of Fate to try and match this. And they have gold cards early to try and shut Ari down. So this mid lane could be explosive yet again. Will be a last pick Jace for Surdy, something that I like, because it does win that side lane matchup in isolation against Renekton. It also has great poke moving forward into the Aphelios. So once again, EG playing a Twisted Fate comp, playing with gold cards. I want to see if they can have some more patience and make sure that they're maybe waiting to burn out that Shock Blast or Step Forward until after the gold card lands and guarantee that damage connects on the right person.
I look at Evil Genius's composition, and that's a lot of range. They got a good space-making kit on their side to try to keep FlyQuest away, while FlyQuest are almost the opposite. They have such short ranges. They have to kind of jump in to Evil Geniuses. It almost feels like, even though we did have FlyQuest play a really low range composition in the previous game, it feels a little bit more like Evil Geniuses are like the catch pushback kind of team.
Kind of. I think that it's just kind of the Twisted Fate identity that we see out of EG. And I think this is a good mark for EG going for this comp again. And that kind of tells me with the Twisted Fate, you know what? We just didn't execute in game one. This still feels like their comfort on this patch and the strat they feel like they can beat FlyQuest with. I think we're going to have to see if EG can improve upon that, because their early game really went wayward. That bot lane play didn't work out. It was a late first dragon. Saligo got solo killed in the Silas matchup. It wasn't a good start for EG. So let's see if they can put together a better start in this game and try and take it to FlyQuest, who, to be fair to them, have drafted a lot of early power as well.
They have, getting Renekton top lane for Philip, UG back onto the Lee Sin. Even looking at this bot lane of Tomo and Diamond, Aphelios Thresh bot lane, I don't expect them to play like how you typically expect an Aphelios Thresh lane to play. I'm expecting them to look for these early plays and try to see if they can catch Cowrie or Skytech out of position before Devour is up.
And Devour, you don't get it till level 6, so we'll see if UG ends up pathing towards this bot side. I know that Renekton-Jace matchup, if you don't help Renekton in their early stages, Jace can run away with that. One of the big differences in that matchup is that Renekton does have good gank assist. And so if you are able to get on top of that Jace and get him behind early, it's one of the ways that you can try and win this matchup. If not, Jace, actually a very, very good matchup into the Renekton. So I am curious, as it looks like UG is actually working towards that bot side. So I think FlyQuest...
No, he's not. Look. He's booking it straight towards the red. He's actually going to be top side.
Yeah, so going bot to top for UG, trying to take advantage of that for Philip. I want to see if FlyQuest can take advantage of that, and EG, it's going to be mirrored pathing, as Tomio also starting on his red buff.
The only difference is I think that UG might have the upper hand. You talked about the Renekton being able to bring a lot of gank assist. This bot lane, you got Tom Kench, I guess. You got Zap, I guess. It's really going to be with the grenades. And it's into Aphelios Thresh. Well, I don't expect Tomo and Diamond to play the typical Thresh lane with Aphelios more passively. They still have that option where they can just play passively, and it's a very hard lane to actually gank.
And you can see Surdy in this top lane matchup. I think he got Renekton off of 2 of those melee creeps, whereas Surdy was able to at least be in range, or 1, I should say, as a range creep went down. So Surdy will ding level 2 first, but Philip, it's not a doomed lane state for him, as Wave coming back into Surdy. Now, the good thing is that, oh boy, never mind, Tomio.
Ooh, Tomio skipped the blue and went straight to bot. Made sure that it's going to be that much more difficult, so they could get the flash and they could get an ignite and heal.
Oh, no.
Tomo so low, they could gift that to Cowrie, but somehow Diamond's able to pick up first blood with the help of the turret.
It still is a winning play for EG as they trade out their support for the enemy AD, but this opens up the entire side of the map for UG to attack, taking the Krugs, taking the Raptors, and it looks like FlyQuest actually want to take the wife of the top winner of EG first.
Flashed into the Q didn't connect, but it doesn't matter because UG's able to flash to get the kill.
Love the proactivity coming out of UG and Philip. Flash is burned. Diamond actually is able to pull that wave too, so
tragic.
It's going to be a lot more resources bled out of Cowrie. And FlyQuest's response to EG's first play, very, very good. Make sure that they are able to maintain this lead on the map.
The only thing is, with the Q missing, UG did have to burn his flash as well as Philip. Could net a bit of an opportunity for Evil Geniuses in the coming minutes while that is off of cooldown. But I don't expect it to. I don't expect to see too much, because bot lane, there's a reason why I talked about Tomo Diamond, this being a hard lane to gank, and you kind of saw it there. It took a lot. There's a lot burned by Evil Geniuses just to get the kill onto Tomo, but Diamond still was able to turn it around and make it a 1-for-1. And even though, as you talked about, that it does benefit Evil Geniuses a bit more, that freeze Diamond got for Tomo completely ruined that.
And when we look at what FlyQuest can do on the other side, they also broke the Jace Renekton matchup.
Yeah.
As now this lane, it's shoving away from Surdy. He does have a trinket, but it's going to be really difficult for Surdy to try and contest the next couple waves. And if UG is able to get back up top, Surdy does not have flash, and Renekton can close that gap.
Like right there. Just jumps on top of Surdy, though there was a massive minion wave, so Phil had to be a little bit more cautious. That's why he didn't fully commit to keep the fight going into Surdy.
But you can see how much priority FlyQuest is putting on this top side, and both teams as UG, he's currently on the blue buff, and Diamond actually rotated up to this side as well. And this has forced the hand of Tomio to also respond in case FlyQuest send up members as fill up. We'll dash out of that.
Then that call with the Mikeel, utilizing the Fury. Tomio spotted out on that ward that's been placed down. Philip is playing this well. He's making sure that he has got a lot of control, so that way there isn't going to be the dive setup coming in from both Surdy and Tomio.
It still was another play where Tomio, he gives up a lot to make sure that Surdy is able to be okay in that matchup, and I think that is needed from the side of EG, but that's still more consequences of that first play coming out from FlyQuest and being very successful from Philip and UG. So we'll see if Tomio is able to recover, and if he's able to get back to this bot lane, because there are still missing sums on Dotomo that EG would love to attack yet again before they come up.
Diamond has his own flash, and that's going to be what can make it work out for FlyQuest. While UG revisits this top lane. No mana for Surdy. Jump on top of him. Second kill for Lee Sin.
And flip side, now we go bot.
This is what I was talking about. Diamond had his flash, the lantern, click it, boom, safe.
I think trying to attack Aphelios with the Tahm Kench knockup, kind of weird from the side of EG. If you go on the Thresh, he does have to lantern the Jinx back to himself. Or I should say the Aphelios back to himself. He can try and maybe force his flash too. Instead, Tomo and Diamond able to get out okay. And EG just trade away that top lane pressure for a Dragon, which is well worth it for FlyQuest. And the way that UG has been able to attack this top lane with Philip, really textbook play coming out of FlyQuest Academy.
And now he's sitting with a nice sizable gold lead. He's got himself 2 kills, got a bit of a bounty on his head, even if the Dragon was taken by Tomio all the while he is pathing back to clear out his bot side jungle. That's a lot that has been gained by FlyQuest in the early stages. And looking at their comp, there's a reason why we kind of talked about how they have a lot of that early game pressure that they can provide.
I think even, I mean, now that we kind of can see Spyrax on this Ahri, one of the difficulties about playing into Ahri is that, as I mentioned earlier, she's an assassin with wave clear. So Spyrax, every single time he's able to get priority, can just go a hover and make it so hard for EG to play on one of the sides. And if Sadigo messes up and tries to match, he can die. Ahri does have that, not one-shot potential anymore, but with UG, for sure has one-shot potential. As UG will take away the Raptors of Tomio. Gets forced out by Surdy, but still well worth it for the side of FlyQuest. And you can see Spyrax, every time he gets shoved, just goes to hover that top side. Goes to make sure that Philip can play safely up there, and Surdy keeps on feeling that pressure.
While Tomo is left on his lonesome in the bot lane. Not too concerned with the Jinx Tahm Kench lane. And now they can send Diamond into this mid lane with a FLYA onto Saligo. He's got flash, but there's so much damage from Spyrax that he can follow up with the Spirit Rush. Death sentences for Saligo.
Good roam by Diamond. That's EG just not quite communicating what's going on bot. Now Surdy, he's stepping up, but he might be in trouble.
He might be, but they got Tomio right there. Yuji's looking for his path in. There's going to be the Sonic Wave, followed up. Even with the Crescent Strike, it wasn't enough to stop the fight coming in. Phil might look for the dive with Yuji here, too. They've got a lot of bursts if they want with the Dragon's Rage, but they decide to back off instead.
They have to respect Saligo being back up and the fact that he could try and turn that play around, but I think the health bar advantage is going to be enough for FlyQuest to comfortably start up this Rift Herald Surdy. Poking his head in, will drop a ward. This will be spotted. And now EG, they have to respond elsewhere.
But that's going to be the Lantern clicked. Wasn't enough room to be able to get the knockup coming in from Tahm Kench, but all the while, Philip just dies to Surdy. Tomio made sure he put up his own tent in the top lane.
So, bit of a mistake from Skytech as he goes for that Tahm Kench unburrow against a target that flashed away, so that doesn't connect. But a big break for EG in the top side is they are able to find that kill. And now
Nice
we'll get the
flash.
flash out of Spyrax.
Nice charm. Lots of damage onto Skytech. Look at Spyrax. 1v2. Not deterred. Getting a lot of damage.
Oh,
The gold
no.
card might have been able to only prolong the inevitable because Yuji was able to get a killing spree. And now Spyrax in a little bit of trouble of his own. Gold card will connect once more
Yuji.
onto Ari. But here's Yuji. He wants to get the kick onto Soligo. Right back into the death sentence of Diamond for a double kill.
And that's the teamwork that we want to see out of Yuji. Those are the moments that we know that this player can have individually, but when he's doing it with his team, that's what's going to set Yuji apart from the rest of the junglers in Academy. That's the growth we've been looking for out of this player early. Great to see that there in the mid lane.
He is looking fantastic, and the communication, you can tell it's a whole different game from FlyQuest. Even here with Diamond in the top lane, having rotated lane to lane to lane to be able to help out every single member that he possibly can.
You know, funnily enough, them going for that play might have stopped the Rift Herald again, as Philip lost the majority of his health. And FlyQuest maybe trying to play a little bit too quickly, but Surdy, he's pushing out this top lane. Tomio is here and spotted, and now Surdy.
Flash
Oh,
away,
boy.
but Philip can follow this up. Dirty, yo, Versade, you're welcome. You knew they were all there.
And now Tomio, he can't do this Rift Herald. He wasn't there to support the play. Skytech wasn't there to support the play, and Spyrax.
Spyrax uses the Spirit
Yo.
Rush, again, charming the Catfish, getting a lot of damage. Would go for some more charges into the depths of Evil Geniuses, but instead of going for anything further, just going to clear out the minion waves and utilizing the ult to get back to safety.
Tomio will be able to trade out the bot side camps of Yuji, but Yuji's 5-0 on this Lee Sin. Every move and every play that Yuji has made in this early game has worked out for FlyQuest, man, Magical. And it's all been on this top side, as he's done a great job making sure that Surdy can never get off the ground in this matchup. Now he's going to take that Rift Herald, and FlyQuest could easily take first brick top if they wanted to.
That's where I was even going to ask you. Do you just pop it immediately in the top lane with how low it is? And the fact that Surdy is a level down to Philip in this fight, where normally you talked about how the Jace is so powerful into Renekton as the game continues on. But if you get this Renekton continuing to snowball and you have a Lee Sin that's 5-0, I don't know what more this Jace can do.
I like this drop for FlyQuest, but they have to keep the game pace going. So now that they have this dead lane topside, Surdy, he has to stay up here. He's got no TP, he has no flash. The onus is on FlyQuest to try and make a 4-1 power play elsewhere. So I think we have to keep our eyes out for bot. Cowrie and Skytech are both missing sums at the moment. If FlyQuest are able to push out mid, rotate Spyrax bot, and try and get a power play, that's where taking that early top lane turret can really help them keep on accelerating the game even more.
And at the moment, Yuji back onto another neutral objective. Instead of going for that, is actually going to wait for Diamond. Might even look for a play onto Soligo, get rid of the Destiny Gate.
And I mean, the tough part about this Twisted Fate is that because that top side just collapsed thanks to the good play from FlyQuest, and because EG were never able to respond on the bot side, TF can't do anything. He is stuck mid lane, clearing the waves that Ari shoves into him, and he has no winning sides to play towards. So now the map for EG, it has the potential to be shrunk drastically by the side of FlyQuest, as they're going to have to bleed out objective after objective, and at this point, really just trying to fish for a pick.
Well, I gotta give a call back here, because earlier today, I mean, just our last series, we saw Kenvi on blue side 6-0 on Viego. And then they still lost that game.
Oh boy.
So you never, hey, I'm bringing it back
Hold
to
on.
that because right now we have a Fed jungler. I know you're saying, oh no, because
There's a croc in there.
there's a croc in the bush. Oh, he's spotted there, getting so much damage onto Surdy as well. Look at that. He's 1-3. There's no mythic, no damage, no nothing for poor Surdy. He's just getting chased down, and they give the kill to Yuji.
Man, Philip must really like Yuji, as he had the solo kill, and he just says, you know what, buddy? Here you go. This one's for you.
He's like, no, you got this. You
Oh.
continue to carry, as right there, Tomo's still alive. All the while, Soligo, Tomio are chasing down Spyrax 1v2. He picks up his own kill over Soligo, and Tomio using the Crescent Strike to get a kill back. Diamond low, excited Cowrie he is, but it's all in all a 3-2 in favor of FlyQuest across the board.
Cowrie's going to greed and take this wave, which I think he has to, but the... Oh, Tomio. Hold on.
Tomio does spot
Do
him
it.
out. He
Do it.
will spot him out.
Do it.
Tomio, go for it. Yeah, flash,
You
go
got it.
flash, but when becomes lightning is available. Waiting to close the distance onto Tomio. He's getting a new gun out to see if he can root him underneath. He flashed away.
Oh, no.
He's got a lot of damage. The turret is helping him out, but it's not going to be enough to be able to take down Tomio. Tomo being the one that doesn't need no eye in the team.
Well, at least he trades out the flash. That is a positive. That is a place they can attack, but
No, just keep talking. Keep talking.
okay. Yuji and Philip have really, I don't know.
No, not about that. We all witnessed what just happened there. A murder took place in the top lane. Talk to me about the spot lane.
I kind of wanted to talk about the murder in the top. It's been
No!
Yuji Philip Kingdom, man.
It has been. I feel bad for Surdy in this game. He has just been ganked over and over again by Yuji. He's 7-0 on this Lee Sin.
Okay, I can talk about the 7-0 Lee Sin, right? That counts.
Fine, I'll give it to you. What do you got for me?
Well, I think it's a good sign for FlyQuest. FlyQuest as a team, I know that early game, they've had some struggles come together. At the 14-minute mark, they're averaging being down 530 gold at 14. That's sitting 8th in the league. This game, they're up 4K. And it's been off of Yuji playing with his team and playing towards their win condition really well. As being 7-0 is one thing, but the way that FlyQuest have been able to do it, it's hitting that first gank timer, and Yuji has been up there to punish it every single timer, all the right times for the rest of the game. That's the part that I really like to see.
And now you have Philip in a great position against Surdy. He might not have his own kill, but he's fine in this fight against Chase. He's got Stride Breaker completed. He's already got the steel caps in his inventory compared to just the Eclipse on the other side while he's still working on the Muramana.
And Philip, even up a level, he's bluffing the base yet again. He has ult, he has flash.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You have to imagine, he's in the
Spyrax
bush
is
again.
coming.
You've got, even if Tomio's here, he just pops the dominance, he slices and dices his way towards Surdy, getting a lot of damage, and there's Spyrax getting the flash out of him as well. The sea gate's been opened up. The Everfrost doesn't connect, but they got so much damage onto Surdy, and here's Yuji. Is it going to be his 8th kill? Just give it to him. Why not? But it's going to be Spyrax who takes it instead.
So we go pop the port too, so that's another cooldown blood out. And fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. As the same play gets 30 the second time. And FlyQuest now with this dragon, they have a couple flashes down. EG, they're on a weird side of the map, and they really can't jump into this Renekton because Philip is fed out of his mind at the moment.
You mean Yuji, right? Yuji's fed out of his
Both.
mind. Yeah, you know what? Fair point. So one of the saving graces. It has been a very good team effort right now for FlyQuest. But a saving grace for Evil Geniuses has got to be the spot lane. I'm looking at Calgary right now. 2-0. Gale Force completed. Just got solo and turret gold in the bot lane as well. Even if the rest of FlyQuest are far ahead, that's something you can always fall back onto, is the lethal tempo using AD carry. But if Tomio just gets soloed out by Yuji, I don't know what he can do. He's kicked away. The charm didn't connect. The flash spin with the Crescent Strike. No Death Sentence connecting. Diamond's now in a world of hurt. They've got the gold card. They've got the damage. Cowrie's the one who get it. They've got a Moonlight Vigil coming in from Tomo as well, but he's getting kited back, and they're going to be able to get a lot of damage coming in from Cowrie. He's just playing up forward. He's got a triple kill with a shutdown on top of it, too. Yuji dodges away from the zap, but Cowrie is the one getting all the kills.
Okay, well, I guess the comeback mechanic for EG is Cowrie, and on the bright side for EG this game, it's been a beautiful early game from FlyQuest, but they do have late game scaling options. Jace, Jinx, as the game goes on, with gold cards from Twisted Fate, will be difficult for FlyQuest to deal with. And Cowrie now, those 3 kills, that's a big deal, because guess what? This Jinx, 5-0. They also get to take away this dragon that stops the stacking from FlyQuest. In a small overextension, Spyrax and Yuji just not syncing up on the kick and the charm there cost FlyQuest dearly.
It does. If they get that to work, it's no longer an advantage in numbers for Evil Geniuses. They can fight back. But here, because that one play, it allowed Cowrie to completely clean up. Sure, he doesn't get the big shutdown, the actual elephant they want to hunt, but they got so much gold from those plays from other members of FlyQuest.
And it was a 4K gold deficit in the replay. It's now only a 2.5K gold deficit, as they got the objective bounty from both the dragon and that bot turret that Soligo was able to take down for EG. So a much more manageable game state. We now have a rapid fire cannon for Cowrie's Jinx, and he did burn flash for that play. So we'll see if EG can kind of hold the fort down for the next couple minutes. I think they can only fight on Cowrie's flash timer, and FlyQuest have a ton of ways to force fights. So let's see if Diamond can sync up with EG, and let's see if they can punish the flash being down on this immobile Jinx. And let's see if EG can play good defense around this, because they do have a Tom Ken sheet. They do have a gold card from Soligo. But this game, we're kind of joking around. It felt over Mad Magical, and all of a sudden, EG have a bit more hope.
Hey, I feel like I'm a big brain there too, because I was just talking about Cowrie and how he's got 2 kills. He's looking pretty decent in this lane, and now he's got 5. He's the one they can fall back onto, the lethal tempo 80 carry.
Meanwhile, Surdy falling back to his top inner turret, as this is still a very big and scary Crocodile.
Yeah, but it wasn't the bush setup this time for Philip, so...
It wasn't. Yeah, it's a dominance that, we're showing. It's a little bit more fair to Surdy, as now Tomio rotates over.
All just a bait at the moment. Both teams are kind of like in this weird dance. It's an awkward dance waiting for any of these neutral objectives to spawn. It's only 19 minutes into the game, even if it feels a little bit later with some of the chaos we've had during this game. And also the fact that we've got 2 items for Cowrie. Waiting to get, more of a bang with the punch there outside of just having Gale Force and Rapid Fire Can.
And it feels like that play just took all the wind out of FlyQuest, Mad Magical, as that one overextension. We haven't seen FlyQuest before. We would see them shove waves and then walk into EG's side of the jungle. And now we're just seeing them shove waves and kind of retreat. They need to get these resets in. They need to gather themselves. And I still think it's going to be key for them to fight on Cowrie's flash being down. That's the one window I could really see them getting the best of EG, because this Jinx, at this point of the game, too big to deal with. It's the one comeback mechanic for EG as Tomo steps up.
Just getting a little bit of damage onto Cowrie. Nothing too severe. It was more like trying to force him out. Okay, Surdy learned this time. He learned the Croc is most likely in the brush. It's like the surprise Garen. If you see a bush, it's probably there. But now Spyrix, ooh, he jumps on top of Saligo. Charm connecting to after the Everfrost with the Spirit Rush. And Exhaust has been burned. But it's going to be the gold card stun from Saligo to save his own life.
Okay, at least Saligo's able to get out with the Spellbook. We'll make sure that FlyQuest can take control over this topside jungle. And they just get the chicken nuggets out of it. Should be all good for UG, but...
Actually, they might be able to get this turret mid.
Ooh, does seem to be the true objective. Cowrie.
Trying his best to clear out the minion waves, but it is going to be the turret taken by FlyQuest. Good chunk of change back into their pockets, especially trying to get some of that gold onto Tomo. Last game, he was able to 1v1 Cowrie, but this game, I don't see that being a likelihood. With how far ahead Cowrie is at the moment and continuing to scale up into this game, it's going to be difficult for the side of FlyQuest to fully contend against.
Seemed like interesting ult there from Saligo. I don't know if he's going to have that up now for the Dragon. As FlyQuest regrouped as 4, maybe they were looking to see if anyone split up on the reset. As, oh, this is interesting.
This is very interesting. Philip is now finding his fight into Surdy, but it is Surdy getting more power. The Muramana is completed. UG, he's the real stat checker here with the kick into the wall, the follow-up Q, and even a lantern on top of it. It's going to be Surdy, though, taking one with him.
Philip had flash. He did not flash out, ends up going down for his sins. UG does get the kill, but at least EG with this Herald might be able to pressure and take this mid-outer, as it is a 4v4 on the map. Both top laners are down, and this is where I really like EG's comp. Saligo playing with Cowrie. These gold cards plus Jinx. We've seen this combo. Net teams wins at Worlds. This was a big strat at Worlds. I want to see if EG can execute this themselves, because they have this big scaling hyper carry that they can protect. Saligo, all he has to do is just stand in front, throw gold cards, and it's not easy for FlyQuest to deal with if they can't find angles.
Less than 10 seconds until the Dragon spawns as well. Evil Geniuses forcing FlyQuest's hands. They want to bait them into a fight towards them so they can get more control and push it right back.
And I want to see Cowrie and Skytech. As long as Skytech is hovering, Cowrie can play really far up, as he does have the Tom Kench. But it feels like EG, they know they scale. They are being very cautious in fighting for this Dragon. And I think they're going to give is, oh boy, Tomio?
No, they don't. They don't give at all, because Tomio went in. They got a lot of damage on Spyrix on the other side with Tomio going golden. UG wasn't able to get the kick. He's golden as well, but now he's in the bad spot with everyone shouting him down. They've given the gold over to Saligo. The Dragon's still on the table. Everyone's got low health bars. Destiny Gate's been popped by Saligo, looking to see if he can get the flank on the other side. He's got a lot of damage necessary. He's got the stun onto Philip. Philip goes in. He tries to see if he can take a bite out of Cowrie, but he just couldn't do it. And it's FlyQuest now running for the hills with a gold card on top of the carries. They've gotten rid of Diamond. The flash from Spyrix barely saves his own life.
And we mentioned the angles for FlyQuest. They were fighting into the clumped up group of EG who were able to peel for Cowrie. He pumps out all the damage needed. And EG, now all of a sudden, Mad Magical, they have the scaling comp. They are back in this game. And it feels like 1-2 mistakes from FlyQuest executing this. it's just too much now for them to deal with. As watch Yuji go in, the angle that he kicks Kaori at, it's not into the rest of the team. He wasn't able to get around Kaori and pick that proper angle. He's able to Gale Force out, and all of a sudden, he's stuck. Yuji's stuck in the choke. FlyQuest now have to retreat, and Saligo is the one that's able to find the angle with the gold card to make sure things go back in EG's favor. As valiant effort from Philip, but that's not a Gorge Drinker, that's a Stride Breaker. You're not able to stay alive in there. And EG, them taking a big win and another dragon for themselves. They're now on Soul Point.
That is a good thing for them too, since they are scaling. FlyQuest would need to have that themselves if they wanted to overcome that obstacle against Evil Geniuses as the game continues to march forward in time. Getting a little bit more dicey. This is something that we had highlighted beforehand. The Renekton, Lee Sin, not necessarily going to be the best scalers on their team.
And EG has ways to deal with that as the game goes on. As Tom Kench makes it very difficult for the side of FlyQuest to get on Kaori, as a lot of their pick tools, like the Charm from Ahri, or the Stun or the Death Sentence coming out from Renekton or Thresh, all of a sudden, Skytech can neutralize that with a good Devour, as long as he's in the right position. Skytech has been properly hovering Kaori at all stages of the mid-game, and it's just been 2 mistakes from FlyQuest. That's been enough to at least buy EG to get back.
Oh, Destiny Gate right behind him. They've got a Death Sentence with the TP too, but they already got the kill they needed to. Tomio taking down Tomo with the TP. Philip, who do you want to actually focus on? This is a 3v4 at the moment. You have to wait until Spyrex is able to show up to be able to help, but he's got no help. He's been poked out by Surtur this entire time, and you're on the wrong side of the fight. Dirty's now found you, and it's the Crocodile Hunter. He's looking to get revenge onto Philip. Jumps on top of him with the Hammer 4, even with the Lick 2, and it's dominating Kaori.
Yeah, Surty says, that's for the early game camp. I'm able to find you on my side of the map. And now we have a game state where Philip, he doesn't have TP. He can't get to this Baron if EG wants to start it. And with Kaori now with red buff, he can heal up. They have poke from the Jace. EG can take this Baron. Let's see how aggressively FlyQuest play this, because it is a 3v5.
And Surty has been landing every Shock Blast on to Spyrex. I don't think that they can actually get this, unless a miracle happens right now for Yuji. He's doing his damnedest to get the angle, but Surty is making sure that he looks for Spyrex, so there's not going to be the follow-up if they go in. They have to forfeit the objective.
And I know that Surty's 3-8, but I love the fact that you're highlighting him in this fight, because I think the poke onto Ahri was what kept FlyQuest from going into the pit, trying to contest that Baron. And what a back-and-forth game we've had, Mad Magicals. Keep in mind, this is a 4.5k gold lead for FlyQuest at the 14-minute mark. And now EG, they have the Baron, they have the lead on the map.
And here we see this replay. It starts off with Tomo thinking that he could just immediately burst out Kaori, but he doesn't have that damage yet. And then you overextend, and it's an easy follow-up from EG.
And this is what I like to see from EG, and I think a much better execution this game when it comes to their composition. As you can see, Saligo just threatening with that gold card, just buying space for Kaori, making sure that Philip had no place to retreat. Ends up going back to his side of the map as we return live. See that top outer was knocked down by EG. And EG are the ones now with a 2.5k gold lead pushing up mid. And it's been off the back of Kaori. That one mistake from FlyQuest that gave Kaori that triple kill seems like all that EG needed to get back in this game, and they have ran with that and done even more. Oh boy.
There's a Destiny Gate, pretty deep. Gets the stun, only the slow. It was a red card from Saligo, not a gold card. But Philip now in the middle of all 5. He's got to be careful. Slice dice back towards the team. Spyrex on the flank, but he's not going to be able to save the life of the Croc. God, like Kaori. The pull comes in onto Tomio. They play him back too, but he's still alive with a nice flash. With minions still harassing this turret. The poke from Surty, the poke from Kaori. Too much for FlyQuest to be able to handle.
I don't know how much more you can take Jace out of the game, and it just doesn't matter. As Surty, he has the 3 items. He's still hitting like a truck whenever these empowered shock blasts connect. And that last one's going to be enough for EG to stick around, take this middle inhibitor turret for themselves, and rotate out to go bot.
And I'm with you. How much more do you have to pour into making sure Surty cannot play the game of League of Legends, but it doesn't actually amount to anything? If you even look at it, he has a lot of depth, but who doesn't have any deaths? Kaori is deathless so far in this game. The big carry Jinx.
And it's paid off for EG, because going into this next dragon, they have a 4-item Jinx. Infinity Edge, now completed onto Kaori. It is a control ward, so couldn't afford a stopwatch, but once Kaori picks up a stopwatch, Kaori has all sums. You have gold cards, you have Skytech with a Devour. It's going to take an insane play from FlyQuest to just even have an attempt to get on this Jinx and try and take her down.
Essentially, it's on to Eugene, if you ask me, to find the perfect kick onto Cowrie away from Skytech. But look at how Skytech is continually hovering around Cowrie, not letting anyone close. With a nice shock blast damage, they've got one Crush and Strike out. One ult is gone out of the side of Evil Geniuses. Make two, because they just used the rocket coming in from Cowrie. It should be Evil Geniuses controlling this. They don't need to worry because they got too many low health bars on the side of FlyQuest.
A Jace plus Jinx following up the Shock Blast with the Super Mega Death Rock. And you see how confident Cowrie is positioning. Skytech's behind. They're just going.
He did this before. He flashed away from the root, but they've got Saligo on the other side. Gold card, not going to be enough. He's not going to be able to get in range. They're just poking at the members of FlyQuest. The flash is coming in to be able to get safety, but it's going to be Cowrie taking down a kill. They're looking for more. It's a double kill, triple kill. UG, the last surviving member, but without a rocket doesn't matter unless, of course, they want to go to the dive in Fountain. Evil Geniuses, they are the 1-1 kings of Academy, and they will continue that record here, taking down FlyQuest in our second game, but they're just waiting for those minions to actually finish off this Nexus.
What reigns supreme? Legendary Lee Sin or EG 1-1? Apparently it's the EG 1-1, as somehow EG were able to get themselves back in this game. Huge credit to Cowrie and EG for really turning around this series, as things were looking grim for them in this one. And then it's just that one overextension from FlyQuest in that top jungle. Cowrie flashes forward, gets the triple kill. Next dragon fight, Cowrie not kicked into the rest of FlyQuest. He's able to Gale Force out. EG ends up picking up that fight in the dragon, and from there, this game felt easy for EG, but man, that was a tough early game to get themselves out of.
Well, it's especially when we look at Surdy in the top lane. He got a little bit of revenge right there at the end on a UG.
He got the top lane treatment that game.
He really did. And then at the end, he's like, all right, you ganked me so much, you camped me, it didn't matter, and I could still kill you at the end of the game.
That's like the true, really, like if you're a masochist enough to like actually want to play top lane and play solo like in the long lane, that's like the game that like you live for, right? Because you are 1-5, like you are just getting destroyed by the enemy jungler, and then you just get to say, you know what? Doesn't matter. I still can hit these shock blasts, and I still end up coming back and winning the game. And I think that that was an interesting one to me because it was kind of like both teams swapping up the identity. FlyQuest, we've seen them pick a lot of scaling, play into the game, make sure that those later stages they're good to go. EG have been all about the early games. A lot of Renekton picks for them, a lot of playing through priority and trying to make things happen. We see that swap, and I think that we saw some of the shortcomings of FlyQuest playing that style, and also some of the shortcomings of EG trying to get through an early game playing that style. But at least in the end, we saw EG bounce back, find the one team fight that FlyQuest really badly overextended, and turn that into a win for EG. So lots of credit to both of these teams. That was a fun best-of-2 series we had in that 1-1.
It was. That was a lot of fun to be able to cast that. And I was a little worried that this was going to be a one-sided affair with how far ahead UG got initially. But like you said, it was getting that triple. It was an 8-0 Lee Sin, a 1-6 Surdy at one point. He actually went that far down. But eventually he bounced back. I think he ended the game at 5, 8, and 11. So that's quite the glow-up at the end.
It's been the story for Surdy so far in Academy. I mean, I know that was a really tough early game for him, but he's still someone that we are excited about in the top lane. One of our rookies that's really started to level up his play week to week. And looking forward to seeing what Surdy can do tomorrow in EG's matchup. And honestly, looking forward to seeing what FlyQuest can do as well. Because I know they weren't able to cash in on that early game lead, but the fact they were able to get it and the manner they did it in is a really good sign for this team moving forward.
It is. These are two teams that are continuing to grow, continuing to get better week after week. They go 1-1. For now, we're going to toss a break. When we come back, hopefully we'll have a nice little interview for everyone. Make sure you stay tuned.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, for our post-series interview with none other than Evil Geniuses Academy mid laner Saligo. First of all, congratulations on another 1-1. We'll get to that series score since it seems to be recurring for Evil Geniuses. But first, Saligo, I want to hear your thoughts on that last game because it was looking a little doomed at the beginning when UG was 7-0 on Lee Sin. So what does the team have to do to keep mental strong in those kinds of moments and make sure no one's tilting, make sure that you're still focusing on that win?
The person that was most behind that game was Surdy, and I think that game he did a really good job just staying focused and making sure he wasn't tilting, which was kind of a problem before. So like big props to him on that. But I mean, for the rest of our team, I think we were kind of just looking for ways to get back in the game. When we got the one opportunity in our topside jungle, that's what blew the game open for us.
Okay, so it sounds like the Doom soundtrack listening for Surdy is helping out his mental going into these games. Do you have any preferred music to listen to going in, or are you also on the Doom soundtrack hype train?
Not particularly.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Now, again, I mentioned the 1-1, and I want to address it because Evil Geniuses have been going 1-1 a lot so far. That was the meme last year as well in the summer. But you're not alone. Team Liquid, 100 Thieves, and Dignitas also have the same number of 1-1 splits as Evil Geniuses right now. So that's 4 teams that have 5 split series. I'm just curious your thoughts. You know, why are there so many teams taking 1-1s against each other?
I would say that a lot of the teams are honestly like pretty evenly matched this year, and I think a lot of that is due to a lot of the teams just having consistency issues, including us. And I think right now, especially we're early in spring, a lot of the teams are still trying to figure out like their own identity, and then obviously there's a lot of new players to the league, so they're trying to like figure out their own play too. So I think right now the play is obviously going to be really sloppy from a lot of teams, and especially us. But I think eventually the teams will start looking more polished.
Consistency is something that is often focused a lot from Academy teams, and I know that as one of the more senior members of the current Evil Geniuses Academy roster, how does this team approach working on consistency with such young players like the Surdys, like the Skytex?
I would say a lot of it is just repetition and practice and making sure that we're getting the most out of scrims that we can. I think, especially for us recently, we've had like quite an intensive like few weeks of past scrims, and we've been working on a lot of things and brushing up on like a lot of our fundamentals. So I think a lot of it will just have to come with time, but I'm quite positive that we'll eventually reach there, and hopefully by the end of the split.
That's always the goal, is ramping up for that Proving Grounds run then. Now, I do have to address the elephant in the room because you did just defeat FlyQuest, which means that there's 100 less trees being planted. A truly #LiveEvil, move on your end. Do you have any plan, does the team have any plan to compensate for 100 less trees being planted now?
We did not take that into account going into this game, so maybe we'll have to have a discussion about that after.
All right. Well, I'll wait to see on Twitter to see what the team's response is to that one then. Now, this is the second round robin, and I'm just curious because, again, a lot of younger players on the EG current roster, and just in general, a very new roster of players coming together. So what's the main difference between the team now and the team back at the beginning of the spring season when we first saw you?
I would say that I think especially in the beginning, Surdy and Daniel especially were like pretty quiet players, and I think both of them were very new to like talking and just speaking their thoughts, and that's something that we've been helping them work on for a while now. And I think right now we're trying to get like our communication systems in place and like helping them talk about the game in a way that they want to, and especially during game as well. Like I think a really crucial skill to have as a player is being able to translate your thoughts into words, and especially in game when you're so focused on like your mechanics or your laning, it's a very important trait to have. And yeah, for a lot of the new guys, like even Tomio, it's been a work in progress, and I think from the beginning till now, they've made a lot of progress.
I think we're definitely seeing that on stage as well. The eye test is definitely passing. I'm also curious, because you've had so many 1-1s as a team so far, do you have any current rivals in Academy, either from Evil Genius's standpoint or your own individual standpoint? Any specific players that you're like, I really want to get that 2-0 against them?
Maybe Prismo and Breezy, since they were my past teammates, but I would say that's about it.
All right. Well, Siligo, to close this out here, because we know Surdy's been listening to Doom, can you give a recommendation for me and for chat? I hear you're a classical music fan. So are there any specific classical music songs that you think we should go check out after this performance?
Not off the top of my head, but like anything from Chopin or Schumann is very good. I highly recommend.
Chopin. How do you spell that? That's C-H-A-U.
Chopin.
I have no idea. C-H-O-P-I. Oh, much easier then. Okay, perfect. I'll check that out after this. Thank you so much, Siligo, and best of luck going into tomorrow's series.
Thank you.